back in 2011, I believe, there was a review that popped up online on the Yeoman's Watch review for a new Seiko model that nobody had seen, and it seemed really compelling. And people on the online forums that I used to go to were really excited. This one, the Seiko Superior SSA003K. Slide rule bezel with 4R37 movement with a 24-hour dial at 12. And some very classic lines, and people were super duper duper excited about it. And my first impression when I first saw these pictures was to be like, hell yes, I'm getting one. And I mean, they were super super cool, and I got one of the first ones available. They came on a bracelet and also on a strap like this. There were a few variants. Let's see if I can find the variants here. Did I skip past the variants? Oh no, the variants are down here. Sorry, this is a really useful site, so that's why I'm looking at this stuff. So, because I don't have this information. And there were a few variants, black and black with gold, and people really thought that these watches were going to be the future. They thought people were absolutely sure these were going to be a classic, an instant classic, and they were going to be a huge seller, and everybody would love them. Well, they came out and they vanished. No one seems to really have them. Only a few people have them. I never see them online for sale. And mine, actually, I got it. It was one of the first ones I got. And it was beautiful. Beautiful watch when I got it, but I couldn't, there was something about it. I think I actually felt kind of guilty about having spent that much money on a new watch, because at the time we had just we're starting the business, and it was, it's a big investment to buy something like this. And so feeling guilty and not wearing it, I ended up selling it. I sold it for about as much as I paid for it, and it went to Australia. But I've always regretted that. There's something about this design that just, modern Seiko tends to get so many things wrong, and I think with this watch they got something seriously right. But anyway, so I have an automatic search set up on eBay, and this one popped up in, of all places, Venezuela. Now, it came to me on the original rubber strap. These came on a rubber strap or on a bracelet. This one came on the rubber strap. It didn't come with a bracelet. But I'm okay with that, because the bracelet that was with this, like many modern Seiko bracelets, is big and kind of clunky and makes my wrist feel like it's in a manacle. So what I did do with this one is I put it on one of Larry Boulinet's Z199 reproductions that he's created, and it pretty much drops right into this watch. I had to modify the end links by bending these up, and I had to use I had to sort of jury rig because these bracelets are set up for fat bars, and so I had to jury rig. Basically, I had to gut 2 fat bars and use their larger diameter shafts as sleeves for a thinner bar. But I think it worked out beautifully. I think it looks really lovely. Some minor history. Now, one of the reasons these were really cool, and sort of an initial sort of shocker too, is that Seiko started out with slide rules a long time ago, in the early 1970s. This is a Seiko 6138 7000 slide rule. Now, this is a true pilot's chronograph. It's an actual chronograph, stop, start, all that kind of stuff, and it has, beautiful smooth action on a highly detailed bezel, and it has all kinds of math that one could do with it. The books that came with these were really thick. This one, when it showed up, and again, this one coming from Venezuela had nothing, no box, no papers or anything. But when I got my first one, the instructions for the slide rule were much simpler. And I don't think because these slide rules can do any less than this one, but I think most people aren't really going to. There's no real expectation that people are actually going to use this as a slide rule. But one could. Let's talk about some of the other stuff. I think now, as I thought then, that this is a beautiful, elegant, simple, classic design. Slab-sided. It's got sort of a coin edge bezel with this sort of round, someone's walking their dog, with sort of this round edge coin here, and this beautiful, smooth curve to the top where everything just flows along. It's sapphire crystal, display case back, and it is, it's a lovely piece. And they did, like I said, Seiko did a lot of things right on this watch. Simple, not a ton of text, none of the new sort of stuff with like the big X on the thing or all that kind of stuff. Extremely simple, loomed markers, big legible, simple pilot style hands, big legible sweep seconds hands. This is kind of funky. The 4R37s have this 24-hour register, but it's not independently settable, which would be really cool if they could do that, if they were able to do that, because then you could basically turn this into a 2-time zone watch. But they didn't do that. But it's a 100-meter watch, non-screw down crown, but it's 4R37, so it's hand winding and hacking. And I just think they're so pretty. I just think they're such a pretty and elegant design. They're really striking and unusual. And even for Seiko, I think they're unusual because they're so not busy. It's such a clean design. Anyway, I'm really glad I got this one back in. And it amazes me that these vanished. I mean, everybody was so hot on these, and then they just vanished. Even with the different variants, they were around for a little while, and then they just stopped being for sale, and I never see them up for sale, and I don't see anybody really post them online that they're wearing them. I don't see them in wrist shots. I'm not entirely sure why. They're a good size watch. They're not huge. I forget. I could just look up the specs, but would that be cheating? I don't know if I just look up the specs, or should I get up my... I think the case is like 44 millimeters. I'm not sure. I'll get out this thing here. Let's do this. Okay. Oh, would you stop it? 0. Okay, let's see what we've got here. Yeah, 44. I was right. So the case is 44. The bezel's a little bigger, almost 45. About 14 tall. It's got 22 millimeter lugs. It's a lovely watch. It's very, very pretty. I really can't say much more about it. I'm mostly making this video to sort of talk them up. Maybe we'll start seeing more of them around. I think it's a design that Seiko should have done more with. And I wish that they had continued producing it, and I think it might have been a classic. I mean, the other 4R37 model that everybody and their dog wants is that dress watch, that Seiko Spirit with the white dial with this register's over here because the crown's at 3, so the whole movement's cranked over like that. And those things are going for like $1,000. They're ridiculous how expensive they are. But this one, not so much. $120 I paid. Unbelievable. Okay, if you find one, pick it up. All right, thanks for watching.